Any questions you may have.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you for introducing me. Hi, my name's Ian McKenna. I'm the CFO for the Sanders Group of Companies. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to come and talk about this exciting project. I think most of you probably know the Sanders Companies, Mark Sanders personally. We have investments in a number of different industries, including the precast concrete industry. If you're ever stuck in a traffic jam on I-69 going northbound, that's our concrete that you're looking at, going up on the bridges and the abutments, et cetera. We also have investments in land development, and we're also involved in developing LiDAR technology, which is a space-based technology that we're bringing down to Earth. But I'm just here to talk about the investment in Sanders Precast today. The plant's been there since 1998, I believe. We were approached about 3 months ago to re-enter a business that we were in a long, long time ago. If you've gone down South Indianapolis Road, you see all these million-square-foot warehouses with these big concrete walls that are about 45 to 50 feet tall and about 12 to 15 feet wide. That's the business that we're getting back into. It's based on demand coming from a number of developers in the area. So what we have to do is we've got to go back and retrofit an entire plant. Mark Sanders is going to spend anywhere from about $1.3 to about $1.5 million doing this rather quickly. We're hoping to do it in the next 3 to 4 months. We believe it's going to bring pretty good economic benefits to Whitestown as well. We're going to be shipping the product probably within about a 300-mile radius. You can't really transport heavy concrete like that much beyond that without the economics starting to depreciate pretty quickly. So we'll be bringing in, we hope, a fair bit of revenue. We've got a lot of demand. We think we're going to be producing at full capacity. We think probably starting in about April, and we think it's going to be a pretty terrific project for Sanders Precast and for the town of Whitestown. So I'll stop there, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions from council? All right.
It's
Thank you.
pretty concrete proposal.
Yes.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I move that we adopt resolution 2016-49.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion that's been seconded. Is there any further discussion?
The RDC voted affirmatively for this as well.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Resolution is adopted 5-0. All right, up next we have a list of 2016 encumbrances to consider. Dex.
They're pretty straightforward. They're really the proposals that you all, the strategic doing, the SIP plan, the census on the town side. There's, I think, one on the park side as well. So, pretty. There's a couple on the park side as well.
Seems pretty straightforward.
They're pretty straightforward.
I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the 2016 encumbrances as presented.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion that's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion's adopted 5-0. All right, up next we have a consideration of a proposal to provide engineering services for the Legacy Core Storm Water Project. Dex?
Yes, sir. And Dan is here if you'd like to ask him any questions about the proposal. I think it's a very good proposal. As you remember, we recently received an Okra grant. We were actually pleasantly surprised because, that is competitive, and to get the $500,000 to add to the $1.9 million capital improvement bond that we took out, we think we'll have about a total of $2.1 million in funds to use for the Legacy Core Stormwater Project. Dan was instrumental in us landing that grant. He went through all the work of providing all the engineering documentation to Okra and to the grant writer, and so we'd like to move forward. He's been working on a project similar to this since 2011 with the Main and Pierce project. This is kind of just a culmination of all of that. And we think that MS would be the best fit because Dan knows our area, he knows our project, to provide engineering services to get us get us going on the project and get us to bid sometime in March, with project hopefully beginning sometime in April or May. And Dan Cutshaw is here if you have any questions of him.
I don't have any. I'd make a motion that we accept the proposal as presented and authorize Dax to, Jason Lawson to execute.
Second. I'd just like to thank Dan, Dax, and Jason, and all those involved in getting the grant and working out this. I know this is something that is necessary for the Legacy Corps, and it's really exciting to see that it's going to be started this year and completed this next year as well. So thank you again for all that work.
Dan, I
Last
guess
leg
the
of
one
that
question I'm gonna have has to do with, is this gonna cover everything, or there gonna be some point when we may have to come back and do a little bit more work?
Well, you know, I've said this before at council meetings, the Legacy Corps presents several challenges. There are a lot of homes that are built below the road. We're not gonna go and fix every backyard that's flooding. That's on private property. We are gonna provide a storm sewer that they could potentially connect to. So there may be some additional things that need to be done, but this is gonna solve a lot of the problems.
Are we gonna have to cover any additional streets at some point, or anything like that? or-
Most of the streets that we're doing is Main and Pierce. We're going to resurface both those streets as part of this project, yes.
So
But
the
the-
homes
the-
that are, this isn't gonna work for, the ones that are flooding their yard, they're gonna be able to get with the town and connect a drain if they want to, and connect to the storm.
Some it will, some it won't. It just depends on what the elevation is of the home, and if it's 2 or 3 feet lower than the road, then they're probably still gonna get some flooding, but there's gonna be an avenue that they could connect to a storm sewer and get it out of there.
Yeah, that's what I
But,
was asking.
but they will have to do, because that'll be on private property,
Right, so they would bear the cost of connecting.
yeah. But we will provide, I think there's something in the range of 80 to 90 inlets as part of this project to be placed all over the downtown area.
I guess my concern is I'd rather just get the whole project done, just make sure that we're getting the whole project done, rather than leave some for, hey, we'll do this at a later point.
Well, we have a budget, and what we will do is we will bid it in pieces. We hope to get all of it done. Again, it depends on what kind of bids we get too, so.
I remember there were some areas where we just, because of the budget, we just said this area's not gonna get taken care of. So I think Kevin's saying if we can, extend it to those areas, is that what you're saying? I don't know if you could hear me.
I couldn't hear everything you said, so don't worry about it.
This has been part of the master
Yeah.
plan for
My
a very
earpiece
long
is broke.
time. So, you know, I mean, that's well thought out. It's accessing and putting inlets at key points. And so, I have no problems with this. We've been working on this a very long time.
No, I guess the way I would put it, my concern is that when we first started looking at this, we almost looked at it as a two-step project where we'd get the majority done, and then there might be some extensions put in at a later point or something, and way back.
Well, but we got the Ochre grant, so that helps.
Dax?
Well, the Ochre Grant is for the Main Street and Pierce Street trunk line placement, and we don't have the funds as a town to put storm sewer down every single road in the Legacy Corps. The majority of the flooding issues are on Main Street and Pierce Street. So what you've done also, if you remember correctly, is, and I know I thought we'd already hashed this out, is you've created a stormwater utility. You'll eventually create a rate for that stormwater utility. That rate will bring in substantial amounts of revenue, and guess what you'll do with that revenue? You'll develop a master plan for areas that already don't have storm sewer, which is really just the Legacy Corps at this point, because when you do a master build of a neighborhood, you now do drainage. Well, 150 years ago, you did not. We will not, and I cannot reiterate, we will not fix every single flooding issue in the Legacy Corps. Even if we put sewers down Turner and Peters and Lofner and you name it, we still wouldn't solve it because you've got houses that are 3, 4, 5 feet. They're ponds, okay? There's going to have to be dirt brought in. So this is the first start of the major trunk lines that will take water to Jackson's Run and get them off of Main and Pierce and have some of the flow, because some of the flow naturally goes towards Main and Pierce anyway, off of Main and Pierce into those storm sewers and into Jackson's Run. Then we can determine, as we develop the stormwater utility and we bring in funds to do so, we'll take out additional bonds because the stormwater utility has the same constitutional debt limit as you all do. And we can bond, they can bond as well, and they can take out bonds to do additional, follow a master plan, because when you do a stormwater utility, you have to develop a stormwater master plan. And you'll take projects out of that master plan and you'll fund them with the stormwater utility money.
Thank you for that explanation. All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. All right, motion is adopted 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we have letter H, consideration of a proposal to provide services for a traffic condition review for the Anson area.
You want to step up? So Jason and I have been having conversations with some engineering firms. This all started with the I-65 exit reconstruction project, which I will reiterate has worked wonderfully. I'll say it again and again and again. But as we developed that and as traffic flow started to flow better, we realized that all the stoplights on Whitestown Parkway may eventually become an issue. And we started talking about, do we need to roundabout Main and Whitestown Parkway, Veterans and Whitestown Parkway? Yes, I understand. And what happens when other developments come in? What's going to be the impact of the parkway? So this is a study that kind of narrows the focus of the transportation plan, which, by the way, will be on your list of goals in February to look at and update. This just kind of narrows a focus onto Whitestown Parkway, which we believe is one of the busiest thoroughfares in Boone County, and gives us an idea of what needs to be done from a master planning perspective as developments come in to ensure that traffic flow is safe and efficient on the parkway, especially as we have to deal with the interstate bridge and the roundabout on the other side, on the west side of that bridge. It's just a part of us staying on top of the game. We want to be able to tell the residents, yes, we are looking at and studying the growth, and we are concerned about traffic and as it flows through. And remember, the majority of the traffic that travels Whitestown Parkway, those are not residents of the town of Whitestown.
Make a motion, we accept the proposal as presented from Kimley Horn and authorize Jason Lawson to execute.
Second?
All right,
Subject to legal
Uniform
review and
service.
approval.
Second?
all right. We have a motion and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion's adopted 5-0. Up next, we have letter I, consider approval of a contract with Bose Public Affairs Group. I would entertain a motion.
And make a motion that we approve the contract with Bose Public Affairs Group as presented,
Second?
subject to legal approval.
I think they did their contract right.
I made them sign up.
You did, yes.
All right, we have a motion. Do we-
Second?
All right. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion's adopted 5-0. All right, up next, we have letter J, consideration of approval of Whitestown Fire Department equipment purchase request. Chief Westrich?
Hello. As I presented with the fire board this month, we'd like to purchase some equipment with some surplus funds of the operating budget this year. As you have in your packets, it explains what I'd like to purchase. We'd like to purchase 2 thermal imaging cameras to replace some of the aging ones we have on our apparatus. We want to replace our attack nozzles so we can standardize them on all our apparatus, and again, replace some aging ones. Some rope rescue equipment that's on there that would basically supplement what we already have for our low-angle rescue, but allow us to also have our own equipment to do belay systems for ladder climbs, for hiring processes, new employees. And then the third thing we have on the list is the Mobilize software, which is a fire inspection record management system.
Fire board talked about these in addition to the next item on the agenda at their last meeting. And, you know, Chief has done a great job with his budget, and these are things that will be helpful to have and to replace now and should provide some benefits in the future. So they voted unanimously in favor of these.
I would entertain a motion.
So I move that we approve the items put before us and authorize Chief Westrich to purchase.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion's adopted 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to letter K. Consideration of the Whitestown Fire Board's recommendations concerning Chief Westrich's employment contract and discretionary merit pay. Quentin, do you want to?
So as we mentioned with the department reports at the beginning of the meeting, the fire department has far exceeded expectations, hitting numerous goals and having very few goals that they didn't achieve that then will be rolled into the coming year. Chief Westrich has been spearheading so many different things in that department and has made a real impact on this town and on our department with both the things that he's done, the goals he's accomplished, the staff he's put together, and the work that he and the fire department have been doing. With all that in mind, the fire board had unanimous approval of the new fire contract and the merit pay as well. So we thought that everything that we've been seeing has been top-notch and beyond, and so we thought that Chief deserved the highest level with his discretionary bonus and the new contract.
Sorry, I didn't hear what the percentage of the merit pay was.
I have that written down somewhere around here. Chief, you have that?
The
number?
contract is listed at 1%.
There it is, 1%. 1%. That's the,
1% merit?
that was the maximum we could give.
Is it, and that's a bonus,
Yes.
so it doesn't
Right, Chief?
increase
That's a
the
bonus,
base?
It's not base building?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we approve.
Or do we need him?
Wait, Dax is giving me hand signals.
By ordinance, and Steve and I have talked about this, you've authorized up to 5% for discretionary merit pay,
Oh, okay.
regardless of contract,
What the contract says.
Right.
So is that-
2%.
Yeah.
was what the original, that's what I had a copy of. I don't have the signed version, but you just have an ordinance that, the salary ordinance authorizes the council as part of the salary ordinance to go higher.
Then I would move for a 5% bonus.
I would second that.
All right,
I would second too.
all right, we have a motion that's been seconded twice, so. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
For all you do.
Passes 5-0, 5%.
Then,
Okay. Do we have to approve this contract or just the
Yes.
fire board?
has legal reviewed the contract?
Yeah, I mean, it is the same as the last one. It extends it to 2022.
Mhm.
Then has the salary increases after
Just the fire board or the fire board making a recommendation?
And I don't know if that was,
Fire board makes
The-
a recommendation. and then
Yeah,
it's
the
up to
understanding of
council.
the fire board was that it would be a recommendation, and then the town council would make the final decision, as we do today.
We should tweak it to clarify that.
Okay.
And so if you want to do that, approve it subject to that clarification.
That was the impression the fire board had when they made the adoption of the contract, or the recommendation. to
And that's
approve.
what it was when we originally went into the contract.
I would move that we, how do I word this? We approve this new contract and authorize, do we need to have a town signatory on this? Authorize Dax to sign for the town?
Second?
Eric, I think is the one that has to sign it.
Steve, who?
It has Eric to sign it.
Oh,
Okay,
Heather.
then authorize Council President Eric Miller to sign for the town.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion that's been seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion's adopted.
thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, up next, we have letter L, consider a recommendation by the Whitestown Police Board concerning a discretionary merit pay for Police Chief Dennis Anderson.
Okay, I had the police, because it didn't get included in the packet, a list of the accomplishments that were considered by the Whitestown Police Commission. It is the recommendation of the Whitestown Police Commission that the chief get a 5% merit increase.
Is that a unanimous vote?
I would make the motion that we approve a 5% merit increase for the chief,
Second?
please.
All right, we've got a motion that's been seconded. Any further discussion?
Was it a unanimous vote?
Yeah, Chief said it.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion is adopted 5-0 for the 5% discretionary merit pay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, up next, we have letter M, consider approval of the 2017 town schedule of meetings.
It's pretty straightforward, too. I just took from, except for the fire board, Chief, I wasn't sure when you had, or councilman or chief, I wasn't sure when you had set the fire board meeting for January, because the council has asked all boards and commissions to meet post-council meeting in January.
That was our ordinance.
Yeah. When did we schedule the 2017? I don't think we scheduled the 2017 meeting. Hey, Chief Westrich, could you come forward, please? Could you come forward, please?
Put you on the spot here.
Do now.
I just want to put him in front of so the people at home can see. Chief, we didn't schedule the next meeting. We were waiting for this to come from council, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Normally, in the past, we've always canceled the January meeting due to lack of agenda,
anyway,
essentially,
so
and usually started with our first meeting in February, so the appointments could be made.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't have a meeting in January.
okay.
I will amend,
So he'll,
pass this with an amendment, which I'll just take off January 4th on the
Is
fire board. Everything else, from what I can
everything
see,
else
is,
okay?
It looks like it.
everything else is correct.
All right, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the calendar of meetings as amended.
Second.
All right, got a motion that's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion is adopted 5-0. All right, we have letter N, discussion of the Public Safety Citizens Complaint Board. I think the only thing I would ask is, I've had a busy month because my dad has had open heart surgery this month. I haven't had time to really read through this very well. I would appreciate it if I could have some time to look at this a little closer and bring it back next month, if everyone else. I just didn't have time to look at it.
Works for me. I understand being busy at home.
It's not a problem.
Okay, Steve, question? Will we need an ordinance to establish this?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, it would just be like another board created by the
Okay.
council.
Yeah.
Eventually, yes.
No, we did that. So the police board put together recommendation of what it should look like, basically, right, Chief?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, it'd be helpful.
The CCB would be made up, consisting of 5 voting members. Each would be a civilian member from each one of the 5 council districts. So each one of you would appoint someone from your voting district, and then by unanimous vote of the council, that person would be adopted and put onto the CCB. There would also be 2 non-voting members that would be a part of the CCB. One of those would be appointed by the Police Commission. One would be appointed by my office. They would be advisors to that board to help them through the technical, general orders, those kinds of things when their review process came up. The terms of the personnel, the initial startup, the District 1 appointee would serve a term of 1 year. The District 2 and 3 appointee would serve 2 years, and the District 4 and 5 would serve for 3 years. And then once that first rotation went around, all members would then serve a 3-year term, just like most of our other boards do. Non-voting members shall also serve 3-year terms from their first appointment. Voting and non-voting members may be removed at any point for cause at the discretion of the council. The meetings, the CCB would be required to meet at least once every quarter to review, if for nothing else, procedural things. And then at the very first meeting, the CCB from their group would select their president and vice president. And then the process, as it's laid out, the CCB would review and issue findings on complaints as follows. Upon receiving a complaint, they shall provide a copy of the complaint to the chief. The chief shall then notify the officer of the complaint and ensure that the complaint is investigated. Within 30 days of receiving the complaint, the chief shall return a written report of investigation findings to the CCB for review. The report shall then state the allegations in the complaint are either A, sustained, B, not sustained, or 3, unfounded. The CCB will then set a meeting to review the investigation findings, and they'll notify all parties involved so that they can be there. But at that point, no additional testimony will be taken from any of the participants. If the CCB upholds the findings and recommendations of the chief's office, the chief shall carry out any disciplinary measures if warranted and any recommendation of findings. Should the CCB fail to sustain the findings of the chief's office, or the chief's office fails to sustain the recommendations of the CCB regarding action to be taken, the matter will then go before the Board of Metropolitan Police Commissioners for final determination or action. And then there's some exceptions that have to be in here because there are statutory requirements for the police commission that cannot be delegated away, and those being that any recommendation from the chief's office for a reduction in rank shall not be heard by the CCB. They're not authorized to do that. Any recommendation for suspension beyond my 5 days that I'm by statute authorized to issue cannot be heard. That by statute has to go directly to the police commission. And then any recommendation for termination of employment, again, by statute has to go directly to the police commission.
Chief, on item B, the exceptions, any recommendation for suspension of duty that is passed, which is statutorily, so possibly what is under your purview, would that go before?
They would not be able to hear suspensions at all by statute.
Okay.
They could make the recommendation for a suspension, but they could not, if my office determined that a suspension was required as a result of the complaint that was filed, that would go straight to the police commission. It would bypass the CCB.
All right. Are there any questions for Chief?
Other than that, the other question is that, well, it says it would bypass, would the CCB board be notified?
Yes. Yeah, they would have to be notified as part of that 30-day written notice going back to them of what the finding was and the recommendations coming out of the chief's office. Yes, sir.
So what I plan to do is to try to bring back an ordinance for first read next month, to get it in front of us, so we can sort of work through it.
And since it's titled as a public safety, I don't know if it's something that you want to have the fire board take a look at, because it would certainly be something advantageous for them to utilize as well. And the chances of them having the type of complaints that the police department are going to, having are somewhat
Item
less,
B,
but-
non-voting members, police officer or public safety. Would that include fire?
Because of the public safety, I think you could make that determination that it includes fire. Yes, sir.
Because they are cross-trained, I'd prefer to see someone from fire on there as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, up next, we have letter O, which is Resolution 2016-49.
Resolution 2016-49 is, or it's actually transfer appropriation ordinance 2016-49.
We had Resolution 2016-49 that was the economic revitalization area.
It's an ordinance.
Okay, there
Sorry,
we
this
go.
is an
It's
ordinance.
written wrong.
Yes, it's
There we
So-
go.
on the copies. Reedy Financial always provides these to us. And I think Steve and I have told him a million times, this is an ordinance, not a resolution. So, ordinance 2016-49.
So, whereas it's been determined it's now necessary to transfer appropriation from one major budget category to another major budget category in the budget year 2016, and whereas the transfer of appropriation does not require expenditure of more money than the total amount set in the budget is finally determined by the state, whereas the transfer is being made at regular public meeting, whereas the transfer will be certified by the clerk treasurer. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Whitestown Town Council, Boone County, Indiana, the following transfers of appropriation be made to the 2016 budget. This is a fire fund, supplies, EMS supplies, an increase of appropriation of $6,000. Other services and charges, a decrease in appropriation of $11,000. And in capital outlays, an increase in appropriation of $5,000. So increases equal $11,000 to the decrease of appropriation of $11,000. Adopted this 21st day of December 2016. Mr. President, I make a motion that we suspend the rules and have second reading of ordinance 2016-49 this evening.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Rules are suspended.
Transfer appropriation ordinance 2016-49. Mr. President, I make a motion we adopt ordinance 2016-49.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Ordinance is adopted 5-0. All right, we're back to, is it ordinance 2016-46, which is the 2017 salary ordinance. And here would be my recommendation is that we actually adopt the last version from 2016 tonight, because you're supposed to adopt something before January 1, and then we come back in January and amend it once we've had some time to look at it, since we have a lot of different numbers and.
We can say that additional positions are not authorized to be filled until after that meeting.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem, should it? If we're using the old, or are you talking about the lit?
Well, first, I found what was originally attached to your packet. I found what I attached to your packet on Thursday. I have that matrix, my apologies. So I will pass it out, tear anything else up that you have in front of you. And that was what was electronically attached to your agendas when it went out on Thursday, when I'm passing it out for the meeting. I'm gonna blame it on the fire chief, but that's okay. No, I'm just kidding. My fault. I love you. This is what will be attached.
That would still be my preference, is that,
I'm good with that.
This is 15.
16?
Or 16's matrix, as requested. If you'll notice, I reduced my salary. How about that?
I did notice. That's,
I just reduced
so,
it.
so I would make a motion, or, this is an ordinance, so we have to suspend the rules, right?
Yes.
So, now if I can find my ordinance.
Ordinance 2016-46, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Whitestown, Indiana, establishing wages and salaries for 2017. Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules so that we can read ordinance 2016